All right, this one's gonna hit some nerves. I already have a group of angry women mad at me already. Single moms mad at me, right? I do not believe that women can raise boys into a man, and I do not believe men can raise a girl into a woman. I have a daughter. Everybody knows I have a daughter, right? I've never lived a woman's experience. I've never had a cycle. I've never had a period. I'm not an emotional person. I don't care about hair. I don't care about nails. I don't care about makeup. I don't care about society or trends, right? These are not things I care about. These are not things I can teach my daughter, right? I cannot raise her to be a woman. And I don't believe that, women can raise boys into men, right? I think it's damaging when single mothers are like, okay, I'm a single mom, I'm the mom and the dad, and I'm not gonna have no male role models around my son. And I'm gonna teach him everything I know for him to be a man. And I'm still gonna expect him to be a man. There was a video that was put up, and I'm gonna tag y'all in it too, because I know y'all mad at me about it, about a mom doing her son's nails. The son is a younger son. You know, I don't think the sentiment is wrong, but I think what you're teaching the son is wrong. Instead of teaching him how to do his nails, right, you should teach him how to learn to be comfortable being dirty, because these are masculine traits. Us boys growing into a man, you're gonna be dirty sometimes. You're gonna be working on cars. You're gonna have to get yourself out of some fucked up situations. You can't care about being clean. You might have to get your hands bloody and defend somebody or defend yourself at some point, right? This is something a woman would teach a boy, but that's not really teaching him to be a man, right? I think that is damaging when women teach boys to be men, because they don't have the same values that a man would have. They can only teach a woman's values. Okay, be emotional. It's okay to have feelings as a boy, right? The same coddling and nurturing of a boy's feelings is going to turn him into a dangerous individual, right? Because now that boy is going to be emotional. An emotional boy, right, is a dangerous man. Mass incarceration, 80% of men in the jail systems come from single mom households, because moms are like, it's okay to have feelings, and when you act on those feelings, you start doing impulsive things that put you in situations like being in jail, right? Now, I'm not bashing single moms. I'm saying be mindful of the fact that you have a boy, what that boy needs to know and what that boy needs to learn developing into a man. Instead of teaching him about fashion, maybe you should teach him how to change some brakes, right? Because that's going to be more important. Maybe you should teach him some leadership qualities. Don't follow the trends. Don't care about what society thinks. Be a leader, not a follower. You know, a lot of the things that women either directly or indirectly, consciously or subconsciously teach their sons, you know, into their development into manhood, are detrimental to their adult years a lot of the time. And I'm not bashing women. But if you have a boy, I'm just saying be mindful. Be mindful. I don't think, and the reason why that video bothered me so much, because I don't think that a boy should be learning how to do his nails. I think he should be learning how to be a leader, you know, how to manage his emotions, you know, how to sit there and work with his hands, how to handle stress, how to sit there and deal with things that men deal with when they're older. Because you're not preparing him for the world, you're teaching him to be in his feminine energy, and his feminine energy is not going to be a component for survival when he gets older. It's not. That's all I'm saying. Like, I can't teach my daughter to be a woman. I'm gonna have to find a woman role model, hopefully, to teach her the things that I can't teach her. I can't rely on the mom for that, because shit, she's 2 hops and a skip away from being deported. She's probably not gonna be here within sometime during this year. So she's only gonna have me as an influence, and I see the effect that I have on my daughter. My daughter's rough. My daughter does not care about if somebody else cries in front of her. She strangles the cat. She's rough with me, and I'm rough with her. So she's gonna have a lot of masculine traits, which already see. But I think it's more damaging when boys develop feminine traits than when girls develop masculine traits. I think it's more damaging. Because men are expected to lead. There's an expectation of men when they get older. So if you have a boy who can't lead, who can't manage his emotions, that's dangerous. You know, who doesn't want to get dirty, you know, just follows the trends. I don't know. I feel like that's a little more damaging. Just a little bit. I'm saying if you're a girl and you're a single mom, whatever, find male role models for your boy to emulate. There was a girl that I was talking to, she had a son. The son, I want to say, probably was like 14, 15, middle school, maybe high school. The son has never done brakes, right? Never know how to change a tire. And I went over there and I taught him how to change a tire and do brakes. You know, because that's important at that age. These are developmental milestones that you're supposed to reach. And I've noticed that a lot of boys who don't have males in their lives, you can tell. You can tell. You know, even now the way they stand, their hand mannerisms, their gestures, their dialect, you can tell that you didn't have a man in your life. It's visible. You know, so I'm saying if you're a single mom, have some more male role models in your son's life. Like, teach him how to throw a football. Teach him how to defend himself. Teach him how to defend others. Teach him how to change some brakes, some tires. Teach him how to handle a firearm if you're in a state where, you know, that's the thing. Teach him how to regulate his emotions. That's the biggest thing. Teach a boy to regulate his emotions. And I think that's where moms kind of have a weakness in, is teaching your boy how to regulate their emotions. Because an emotional boy grows into a dangerous man. And that's always been my motto. I can tell you from my personal experience, right? I didn't have a mom. I grew up with an aunt. Now, my aunt, you know, she wasn't really much of a loving, caring person. She tried to separate me from my father as much as she can. I didn't really have a close relationship with my father until maybe my teenage years, right? Now, all she taught me how to do was be emotional. And I fell into statistic, right? I was doing dumb shit, skipping school, jumping people, emotional tantrums, getting suspended, my grades are failing. You know, I could have been locked up countless times, right? Put myself in a lot of compromising positions. I got older, I had to ask myself why. And I fell in the statistic. Boys who grow up in single mother households, right? Or children who grow up in single mother households, they fail in the school systems. I was failing in the school systems because I came from a single mother household. Boys who come in single mother households, they have emotional issues. Dealing with their emotions. I had emotional issues dealing with my emotions. I was fighting to deal with my emotions. Anybody who told me anything that I didn't like, I'm swinging. Because that's how I was raised. Emotions, act out, tantrum. And then I became a dangerous young man because I didn't know how to regulate my emotions, learning all my behaviors from a woman because she was my only influence at that time. And I realized the difference when I actually had a stronger relationship with my father. My mindset changed. You know, I was like, okay, cool. Dad's angry, right? But he's not throwing shit. He's not throwing a tantrum. You know, he's breathing. I was like, all right, maybe I could deal with my emotions a little angry or a little differently. All right, I see how dad handles finances. He writes everything down on a piece of paper. He doesn't emotionally spend. I write things down on a piece of paper. I even have Excel spreadsheets now, right? So what I've learned from a male was a whole lot different from what I learned from a female. But what I learned from myself is that I fell in the statistics, right, of everything society said I would be just being raised by a female. Fell in grades, single mother household. Single mother household, fell in grades. D, E, F student, right? Emotional regulation. I didn't have no emotional regulation. Everything I resolved was with my own two hands. That's why I had all these knuckles on my fucking fingertips from all the fights of just being emotional and acting out on it. Single mother households. That's me. Single mother household, right? Before I got a relationship with my father. You know, drinking, smoking, right? Shit. So I fell in that category too. So I fell in literally all the categories except for getting locked up. And the only reason I didn't get locked up because I was smart enough to know how to read a fucking room. You know, I'll do some dumb shit and I'll disappear. I'm not gonna stay in that dumb shit. I'll do the dumb shit and I'm out. People do the dumb shit and they stay. I got lucky. But I could have fell in that statistic as well. So I'm not saying it to bash women. I'm talking from my personal experience. I'm talking from a statistical standpoint of what the numbers are saying. I'm talking from a male's perspective. So I'm not bashing women. Women, sometimes they hear the truth or they hear something that triggers them and they're more focused on how they feel about what I said rather than if what I'm saying have truth and merit to it. I'm not sexist. I guess you can call me ignorant. I'm not ignorant either, but you can call me whatever it is, but there's truth to it. I'm talking from my personal experience. I lived it. Well, I guess that's all I'm saying. I'm at school now, what time was it? A little early. All right, life of boobie.